Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben's award-winning podcast, as voted by Grow Your Own magazine and by my followers and listeners. So if you're new to the podcast, make sure you click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our podcasts, listen back to all our previous episodes, sit back, grab a brew and let's enjoy today's episode. Hello everyone and welcome to the latest issue of Gardening with Ben. Thank you for joining into today's show. I hope you're all okay. The weather has been absolutely glorious here in Sheffield today. Absolutely beautiful. You wouldn't think it's autumn whatsoever. You'd think it's summer with how nice it is. It's just a shame that the sun doesn't last long at this time of year though. It's certainly getting darker and darker now every single day. And I've heard that the weather is going to be changing pretty much soon, so we've certainly got to make the most of today while it's still here. Yesterday were actually really misty and wet and horrible morning. I ended up going back in my shed and doing some work in there, but I'm not going to talk about that. That's going to be my next episode of what I've got up to at the weekend, so make sure you tune into that one. It will hopefully come tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But today is Mental Health Awareness Day, and I know I've been on this topic a numerous times, but it's a very important topic to me, as gardening is my saviour for helping me through mental health and keeping me going, keeping me sane, and getting rid of those worries and stresses. And I'll explain all the reasons why I think that, to be honest. They do say that being in the garden, you can forget all your troubles, all your worries and everything like that. I think one of the reasons being is that you are not sat at home thinking about stuff. You're out in the fresh air, you're smelling the fresh autumn smells, you're listening to the birds in the garden. Yesterday I was listening to all the geese what were migrating. I shared that video on my live stream on Facebook yesterday, and you're taking in all the surroundings around you down on the plot and enjoying what's around you. You're finding new things all the time. You're looking at the harvests what are growing. You're looking at the insects what are scurrying about near you. I certainly see plenty of different types of insects down on the allotment, which is amazing. I don't actually mind seeing spiders and insects outside, but if I'm in the house, I wouldn't like to see them. I wouldn't be able to sleep if I knew there was a spider in the house. But yeah, it certainly is good for the mind down there. And also it's good that I've spent time down there, really, because when you're struggling with mental health, you don't like to go out. You like to stay in, keep yourself to yourself and not interact with people, which I tend to do. I didn't interact with people at first, but a lot of things that you see always say it's good to talk and it's good to share with one another what you're going through. So I did that step. I talked to a few of my friends, told them what I was going through, the struggles that I was having, and they were really helpful and supportive with me. And one thing that I do like to do on the allotment is I like to go live for my followers down there, and that was another thing that I'd stopped doing. I'd stopped going live on my plot because I was disappointed with it. I've not spent as much time as I usually do on the allotment this year whatsoever, and I'm quite ashamed of how it actually looks, to be honest. It's not looking as good as it usually looks. I've not had a very big harvest this year of vegetables. My fruit's been fantastic because the plants are always in there and you don't have to do anything to the fruits. But the vegetable sides of it, I've had a shameful harvest. It's not been brilliant whatsoever, and it looks a mess. I've got to admit that. But yeah, it has been a hard year, and I didn't want to share it with people, showing what it actually looks like. And as I was starting to get better, I thought, no, I'm going to share with my followers what I've been going through, how I've been struggling, the troubles that I've been having, and that people do struggle, and things aren't always perfect. And yeah, it did look pretty bad. It still looks pretty bad, to be honest. But I'm going to wipe this year out, going to get rid of it, throw it away, and start from scratch next year, and try and make it all look beautiful again, ready for sowing in springtime, really, and getting it all looking fantastic. I've got to admit, I have grown some successful stuff this year. My flowers have been absolutely beautiful, and yeah, I've grown some nice squash as well, which have grown really well. But I've not grown any indoor stuff this year, which I've missed having, like all my tomatoes and my cucumbers. So yeah, I've got a lot to do for next year to get it all back to how it was looking. It's certainly going to be a lot of hours down at the plot over the winter to get it looking at the best that I can. So this Mental Health Awareness Day, I just want to say that enjoy being in your gardens, enjoy being outside, make the most of the nice days, enjoy it, and share with people the struggles that you're going through. Talk to somebody, and as I shared on my Instagram story today, the song Lean On Me by Bill Withers, you always have somebody there to lean on, because everybody goes through struggles, so it's good to lean on one another and support one another when you are going through struggles. So yep, remember, as always, keep smiling everybody, and keep gardening with Ben. So thank you for listening to today's episode of Gardening with Ben. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Remember to do click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our podcasts. Feel free to share them on your Instagram stories so that it spreads the word about my podcast and we get lots more listeners. Feel free to check out my social media sites, Facebook and Instagram as well, Gardening with Ben, and also my YouTube channel, to stay up to date with all my handy videos, how-to videos, and sharing my tips and advice. And feel free to check the link as well in the description for my Gardening with Ben t-shirts. Lots of funny gardening design t-shirts in there for you to purchase at great prices too. So thanks again, and as always, remember, keep smiling and keep gardening.